Right, now, I used to be very proud of New Zealand Post. I remember when I was a member of Parliament, going overseas, in actual fact, to the United States of America and saying, well, corporatisations work really for us, and as an SOEs, the state-owned enterprises model, and I used to give the example of New Zealand Post, which was widely regarded as New Zealand's leading company, won a whole series of awards, and New Zealanders were very, very happy with it. Employer of literally thousands of people, it was an absolute critical part of New Zealand's infrastructure. But yesterday, MB, the Ministry of Business, Innovation and Enterprise, is that right? I've always wondered why innovation is there. Somebody will be able, or is it industry? Our next guest will be able to tell us anyhow. Have announced that New Zealand Post may be further reducing services. In fact, I'm sure they will be, otherwise they wouldn't be putting out a consultation document. And that really leads to, does New Zealand Post have a postal future at all? Joining us to talk about this is the General Manager of Communications at MB, and that is James Hartley. James, what does the I stand for in MB? Is it innovation or industry?
It's innovation and employment.
Oh, really?
So it's Ministry of Business, Innovation and Employment.
Where does the innovation fit? I mean, I'm sorry, I'm just... How does that work out? Innovation, does that mean you're at the cutting edge, you're at the frontier edge of what, research or something, or is it just they came up with the name and you're settled with it?
I think that the innovation aspect of our name probably reflects some of the innovation portfolios MB is responsible for, so research, science, technology, economic development and so forth. So I think that will be reflecting that aspect of MB's portfolios.
Okay. Yesterday, you have decided to consult, I think, on the issue of changes to the minimum obligations of New Zealand Post's mail service and how that might impact New Zealanders. Why is the first question, and second, why is MB doing it and not New Zealand Post, or is that your legal responsibility?
First of all, thanks for having me on the show. It's great to be able to be on the platform and talk to your audience about this important issue. So first of all, why are we doing this? As a state-owned enterprise, NZ Post, as you know, independent from the government in terms of its day-to-day business. So in order to maintain some minimum service levels, the government has a deed of understanding with New Zealand Post. It's kind of like a contract, I guess, in a way, a legally binding deed that sets out how many days a week they deliver mail, that kind of thing. That has a review period, so it's customarily every 5 years. So that time is up right now. So we kind of have an obligation to review it. In any event, we are seeing this quite significant trend over the last few years of mail volumes declining, and they're continuing to fall off. So I guess we thought the time was right to have a pretty good dig into that.
Are they losing money at the moment as a result of the service that they're doing, or are they making money?
I think you probably see, I guess it's basic economics, isn't it? As those volumes decline, the financial situation will get a bit more difficult. There's currently no government money going into New Zealand Post, so they are, like all SOEs, self-sustaining. But I guess that posture becomes harder as those volumes continue to decline. So that's really one of the key reasons why we are doing this consultation now. And the thing we really want feedback from people on is, how are people using the mail service? What kind of service do people want? We know that these volumes are declining. And then I guess balancing that off with the financial sustainability angle, how do we make sure that NZ Post continues to stand on its own 2 feet?
Okay, so what you're proposing at the moment is for urban areas, reducing the post from 3 days per week to 2, and rural areas from 5 days a week to 3. So that's your service. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And then reducing the minimum number of postal outlets from 880 to 500. What do you mean by that? Is that posting boxes, places that I can post a letter from or to?
No, that's actually like a shop, like a retail outlet you can rock into. It's often like a stationery shop, or there are still some standalone post shops, but we're talking about actual retail outlets there.
And then it's
currently under
considering
our
a glide down to a minimum of 400. So in actual fact, you're going to be more than halving under this proposal the number of postal outlets in New Zealand, yeah?
Yeah, that's right. We're keen to get feedback on that. One thing to bear in mind with that aspect of the proposal is that we expect that urban areas might see a bit more of the impact of that, and that we know there's sort of overlapping. There's lots of urban areas where there's overlapping postal shops. They might be serviced by 2 or 3 nearby. So you might see, that going down to 1 instead of 2 or 3 close by, that kind of thing.
There'll be a lot of concern, though, about that particular idea, particularly in lower decile communities, but also in rural and provincial New Zealand, yeah?
Yeah, exactly. So we're keen to get the feedback on that. And we will continue to work with New Zealand Post as well on, I guess, the operationalisation of that. You did ask earlier on, actually, why is MBIE and not New Zealand Post leading this? Yeah. The answer to your question is, I guess, coming back to the fact that this is a deed between the government and NZ Post. So MBIE is representing and advising, I guess, the ministers and the government on this. And as kind of a key policy issue within our policy mandate, it's appropriate for us to lead that.
They also say the bullet point here is provide for New Zealand Post to meet its requirement to extend its network in the form of delivering to cluster and community boxes for new addresses. What does that mean? Yeah, so obviously, New Zealand there's houses are expanding, there's new subdivisions. Yeah. So we're talking about, should each new house have a letterbox, or maybe for bigger subdivisions, do you have some kind of area where there's a cluster of boxes? So you think like right now in some, so you're going to make people
areas,
walk to get
driveway,
there.
There'll be a cluster. I guess that's the kind of thing we want feedback on. We are seeing this in some communities already. As I was saying, many rural driveways, at the end of a long driveway, you will see, 3, 4, 5 postal boxes already there already. So it's kind of expanding that concept. But we're keen to get feedback on that from people. Are people really concerned about having an individual mailbox, or would they be happy to have like a cluster in their subdivision or at the end of their street, something like that?
Just those first 3 bullet points would suggest to me that the New Zealand Post is living on borrowed time, because if you're reducing the services, then people aren't going to use you. It's a bit of a self-fulfilling prophecy, isn't it, really? If you're going to reduce the services, then people will stop using the services that are there. Ipso facto, lessen the demand for New Zealand Post services. Doesn't that happen? Isn't that rather circular?
We're already seeing a significant decline. I think some of the key stats are at its peak, the mail service was processing about 1 billion letters a year. It's down to 180. It's already declining. 180 million already. So 180 million. Sorry, not 180 letters. 180 million. So that's 80% decline. That's just in the last couple of decades. It's forecast to keep dropping anyway. So I think we sort of can't. We probably can't ignore that reality, and we need to kind of at least give some good thought to what do we want the mail service to look like in the medium term.